So, this video is one I've been waiting to do for a little bit of a long while. And I'm bringing this up only because, since Short Fat Otaku's done the video about it, talking about it in depth, I figured I should take it one step further, build upon what he said, and try to explain why we've gotten here. Explicitly in this case, we're talking about what he explained about Arin Hansen in his other video the other day. Why Arin Hansen feels that he has the opportunity and chance to talk about what he talks about. Why does Arin Hansen believe that he can just shit on everything he's ever built, and the places where he got that from? Why does Arin Hansen think that he can just put Newgrounds in his rearview mirror and act as though that he didn't start a platform on that entire website, and then transliterate and transmigrate here when he wasn't getting enough attention because the monetization platform and the actual algorithm for YouTube started shitting on creators? Well, it's the same reason why Arin Hansen does it that Joff of Mother's Basement does it. Why a lot of anime YouTubers do it. Why some streamers and some content producers, and most certainly multiple different production studios, especially people like Rooster Teeth, or, say, some places and some corporate companies like Fox News and CNN do it on a regular basis, if not a semi-regular basis. It's because they don't feel that they have to, because they're not hurting for money. What do I mean by that? I mean, they're hyper-capitalists. Arin Hansen does not care about his audience. Never has. Never will. Because Arin Hansen knows that what he wants is he wants to be a shitlord. He wants to be an edgelord. But he wants to be able to have money at the same time. And you can't be an edgelord and make money unless people support you. You can be edgy. People will remind you and remember you for being edgy. But you see, he wants more than just being edgy. He wants money. And he wants the money not from us. Not from you. But from YouTube. He doesn't want money from us. He wants money from the advertisers. He wants money from random kids who pick up his videos and say, "Oh my god, oh, big bad funny man. He has a pretty man next to him with big hair. You want to watch his content, guys? This is so great." That's what he wants. He knows that he can put out shit. He knows that he can put out shit and that it'll work. Same way Jeff knows he can put out shit and know that it'll work. I mean, we all watched Digibro eviscerate his ass last night, or the other night at least, when he put out his video talking about it, when he was talking about SAO. Now, fuck whatever bullshit there you might think that they've been on, but Digibro's on to fucking something. Jeff, much like Arin and much like anyone else, especially people like Jake and Natalie, they have that thing in their neck that allows them to be a shill at the same time they're trying to convince you that you're a bigot because you're against them. He knows that this exists. The same way that I know that it exists. Because it's an actual trick in their brain. It's like a chip. It's the same thing in their head that tells them that if you're against their opinion, that means you're transphobic. Or if you disagree with their opinion, that means you're an evil Nazi. Because only a person who's against them diametrically would oppose what they're asking for. Because they know who they're trying to pander to. They're trying to pander to the woke crowd, and they're trying to get as many normies in as possible. If you want to see an example of this, just go back and watch my, 9-hour video of the live stream footage, raw, between myself and Jake, and then the fallout of it, and then eventually the conversation that I had with Sarah. If you look and you pay attention during the live stream, there's a point that comes up where the other person who was there in the first half, when it was quote-unquote 2-on-1, between myself and Kyle, there was a point where it was brought up that quote-unquote people, the last time that the person known as Smuguroko, whose name I'm not going to use out of respect, that this person had people, or she herself, sent child porn to the servers. When this came up in conversation, I asked Jake, where's the logs? Because as we all know, any person who's been a moderator or has been a person involved with moderation for a Discord server, you know, as well as I do, that those logs are saved in the moderation panel, and that those logs are also logged with Discord proper. They have the logs of it happening. They have your logs of it. Your Discord owner and your moderator team have access to it. And they don't have to show what was shown or what content was shared. They can just show that it was deleted. And they can show who posted it, at what time, all the normal timestamps. I have yet to receive those timestamps from Jake, despite telling him on the stream, send them to me after if you feel like it. He did not feel like it. Why? Because he knows that he was lying. I knew that he was lying. During that live stream, in fact, there's only 2 lies that I told, provably. The first one was when Jake asked me to my face, am I an MRA? I said, no, that was a lie. I am. Only to the fact that when I asked him after that, what kind of MRA are you talking about? Jake was not describing an MRA. Jake was describing a extremist kind of MGTOW, because the kind of people who I associate myself with are people like Dr. Rana McCam and Allison Tiemann and Hannah Wallen, because those are actual MRAs. Those are men's rights advocates that are egalitarians, because they don't like it when women treat men poorly and don't treat their own gender and the opposite gender freely. The other lie that I told was why I brought up the rape of the Siberian women. The reason I brought that one up was very obvious, if anybody had watched it. When Corvid Kyle was there, and he was talking openly on the chat about his mental illness and about his struggles with his mental health, Jake would then go on multiple times, concluding towards the back end of the first 4 hours, after he brought in the trans person. He would go on to try and denigrate me and insult me on every single basis he could think of at the time that he could see. Because he was never planning to have that live stream hit the light of day. The only reason why he keeps it up is because he knows if he lies, he can just, create a clip to support his position, when all I have to do is just keep the fucking clip up. All I have to do whenever I need to prove him wrong is just leave it there, and then I can just clip out the piece that I actually need to prove against what he's claiming, and, prove what he said was a lie. It's much like what he did, that what Natalie did, right? Because let's really think about it. Let's really think about Natalie Casanova's motives, right? Why did she answer to a sub 1,000 Twitter account that had tagged her name in something that she probably wouldn't want to be associated with? Let's think about that for a second. If I were her, what do you think I would do? I can tell you right now, I wouldn't be replying. I would just mute that account. Much like how when I asked Jake on the live stream, if Smug Raru is so annoying to you, if Smug Roko is such a bad person to you, this after how many times he asked me to disavow something I already said that I disavowed, I asked him, why don't you just block her? Why don't you just avoid her? You know what he said? He said that was victim blaming. If any of you know anything about me, you know exactly why that's some bullshit. If you don't take responsibility for your own interactions on the internet, at the same time you're trying to hold other people accountable for things that they didn't do, for people who they didn't say, and then you bring somebody onto your stream so you can have them attack someone for you, so you can claim, oh, I never said those words, I didn't mean that, I didn't report that, while you immediately try and accept and continuously accept money for people in your audience that are trying to antagonize somebody who you're supposed to be talking to in an actual debate, with no moderator, mind you. It's not a debate. That's an inquisition. It's very obviously an inquisition. Especially when you do what you did since then. Haven't looked at anything he's done since. Don't have to. I'll do that in the later weeks, when I actually start grinding up to the thing that I was planning ahead of time. But it's the same tactic, you see. A hyper-capitalist like these people, like myself, they recognize an opportunity. They see the opportunity, they see the chance, they capitalize on it, and they milk it for anything that it's worth. Me, I don't see worth in acting like a victim, especially when I'm not a victim. There are worse things that happen, and there are worse things and more important things we could be focusing on. But they know that as long as they pretend that they're being victimized, the money will roll in. We all have seen the tactic. It's the mad in my Menchie's tactic. They see something or they do something, they make a statement, that statement gets ratioed. When they get ratioed, they get a whole bunch of people who are going to mock them. Then they claim those people that is a combination of men and women, is mostly men. And then they claim, oh, look at all these guys mad at my mentions, verbally abusing me, accusing me of things I never did, threatening my life. Oh, please, will someone come attack them? And then people come on their advocation, and then a harassment campaign happens. And then they disappear, falling back into the fold, never to be heard and seen from again until the next time. Do the exact same thing over and over again. Jeff's done it recently when somebody had some fan art made of him that came up in their Discord. He came up into where they were and claimed, oh, so you support these people who are harassing my name? Bitch! What do you mean? That's not how that works. Same thing with her. Claiming, oh, you're just looking for offense. You're looking to be mad. No, ma'am. You're looking to be mad. That's why after I told you and showed you proof that you were lying, both about why and how I got the evidence, and about whether or not it actually brought attention to you, which it did, because the highest search results, which you can see when you go to the thread that I documented on, or if you just watch the video that's on the channel, Kicking the Unicorn. If you go through that video and you watch up to that point, you'll see that I point out, by using my spoof bot, I can show you on both the Bing results and the Google results where it directly ties to your live streams of your cosplays, body painting, where your metrics go up because your name is associated with these things now. It shows in the logs that you did live streams, you promoted them, you pushed them out there, and that got you more and more attention. And as people started quoting the numbers to you after you harassed me and you tried to block me because you said, how dare I even use your last name? I don't even know you say. And yet you try to do everything you can to push that aspersion onto me, claiming that you actually knew what the fuck I was about. The same way you did that and acted like the victim and tried to popularize that for an opportunity to get your buzz up, it backfired. Why did it backfire? Because you were lying. You didn't think that it would come back to haunt you. You didn't expect Keemstar of all people to boost that message. You didn't expect to see that. Why didn't you expect that? Why did you attack me so aggressive and then go on to do the same thing to everyone else who came into your mentions, who were asking you for evidence? Why did you block over 10,000 accounts manually if the person who you claim was just harassing you had no reason to? Why did Jake pretend and say he didn't know what my skin color was, or who I was, or what I was, when every single time I made a video that day before the live stream happened, early on in the fucking morning, rolling on into the night and the next morning, with my own face on it? How could he not have known? It's because they're lying out of their fucking teeth. The same thing that's in Jeff's neck is the same thing in theirs. They understand and know when an opportunity arises that they can weaponize it. It's the same reason why Sophia Benoit attacked not only me, but also attacked Trill. Remember the other video? The two hypocrite girls? That same thing happened. The reason Sophia Benoit did what she did was because she knew what I knew. And what I knew was the same thing I exposed in that video. That while she's complaining about celebrity men dating younger women, she's working for a man who nutted up a then 23-year-old Playboy model and now has a 10-year-old child. If you do the fucking math, he was 45 at the time. He's 55 now. That means a 40-something man who's currently her boss is someone who she's just going to let that slide against. Because, of course she will. He signs her checks. Same reason why Kelly tried to come in to support her. You know, Kelly, the ex-Googler. Kelly, who wanted to make sure that Cloudflare would deplatform the Daily Stormer because she didn't like the fact that it was supporting them through hosting their content or caching their content. The same person who led the harassment campaign threw someone else as a proxy to get 8chan deplatformed. And when Infinity Chan went down, they tried to lie and said that they were responsible for the next people who created the next shooting that happened in the Walmart. And they were proven wrong, because how could they have been radicalized on there if the site had been down for a week? Same reasoning. Hypercapitalists don't give a shit about who they have to use as a tool. Everyone's a stepping tool. Everyone is a stepping stool. As long as they're going to higher position and higher to office, they don't have to think about what they do to a little person. Because fuck those people. They don't support them. If they're not directly a supporter, why would they care? Me, I care about my fucking base. Because if they weren't here, they would not be the motivation to keep me pushing forward to do this. The other day, I had a message sent to my Curious Cat that I then broke down and explained in detail on my Twitter, which was basically a troll question, where somebody asked me, "You don't look like you enjoy what you're doing. You struggle to make points. You don't seem to be having fun. So why would you just do this? Why don't you just give up?" I don't give up because now I have motivation. See, it's one thing to reach out across the spans of the internet and say, "Hey guys, I have an idea. Please help me support it." I'm already a self-conscious man. The only reason I'm still here is because I asked myself, what is it do I want from life? And when I get messages like that, it reminds me of all the people who support me, standing behind me. All the connections, all the mutuals, all the relations, all the friendships, all the diplomacy that I've done for my brand moving forward, for myself moving forward. Those are the reasons I'm here doing it. If I didn't have those people to thank as encouragement, I would not be here doing this right now. So, those kinds of things, that is what keeps a person like me from becoming like them. We see that that's not what I want. I know that that's not what I want. And I certainly don't want attitude or the adjustment or the appearance of a person like that. Or of someone like One Angry Gamer. Billy! Because Billy is literally wilding right now. He's descending down the racism spiral. I don't know if anybody can save him. Who knows? Maybe if Billy was a hypercapitalist, he'd understand how he could be a better businessman. Me though, I take few lessons from each battle I fight with all of these big people who I'm talking to. Because even though I'm a shitposter who has yet to reach high station, I am able to prove that I'm here to fucking stay. Because what else am I going to do? What's really stopping me from doing it? Money, interest. The money will come as I earn and prove my stature. The interest stays as I continue to have a reason to do what I do. So, the same way that I can recognize these faults in them that I can resound with, I can connect to them. I can ask myself what brought them to be such a person. And I can go in the opposite direction. I won't be that. I'll be better than them. I'll live up to the standard that I think that I can set for myself. And I'll reach towards that goal as necessary. TLDR, why do people act like victims on the internet? Because it gives them power. Those who find themselves an equal man, standing on the same field as their opponent, will shake hands and say, "May the best man win." Someone who cannot do, they'll teach. They'll stay in the sidelines, they'll be happy with their little slice of reality, and they won't shoot higher than that. To someone who wants higher station, but they can't compare, and they can't compete, those people cancel. They cancel because they're lionizing themselves. They're lifting themselves on the wings of martyrdom, and they're telling their audiences, "You must support me. For great justice, you must give my sword the power to slay this demon." They demonize the people who they want to destroy. And once they've been disapparated with this weapon, they put it in their back pocket and in their sheath. They walk around, chest puffed out proudly. They claim the spoils, and they share with no one. And when somebody comes asking, "Hey, may I have a piece? May I have a crumb of pussy? May I have a little bit of clout, sir? Please, I just need a little spoonful." When they come around, they flash the sword. And they ask you, Is this what you really want? That's why. That right there. That moment. That little grin of, I have the high ground. I'm what's popular. I'm what's big. That's why they do it. The only way to destroy that weapon, the only way to really do away with that mindset of people manipulating audiences to get what they want, is to look them in the eye and say, no. Only I have that power. Only you have that power. We, collectively, as a whole, have that power. It doesn't matter who you're siding with. If the thing you're siding with in the end destroys anyone's opportunity to have a voice to speak. That's why I don't argue for my own obsolescence. Even on issues of censorship where I would say, yeah, Hassan Piker, maybe he should have gotten banned. Maybe Hassan Piker should have gotten banned for a month. He doesn't have to worry about this money. He's got his check signed by the Young Turks. Even in those situations. When I say, maybe you could have gotten it longer, we really shouldn't. Because it's an issue of free speech. It's an issue of First Amendment rights. Because ultimately, it's their job to have a right to assembly. It's their ability and their right to have the ability to do what they do and to say what they say. But the problem is that they're causing problems that affect other people, that infect entire industries. They're becoming Anita Sarkeesians, basically. I promise you, by this time in 5 years, once I've built up my platform, made something of myself, gotten somewhere where we're no longer working with this potato fucking camera, I bet you a bottom fucking dollar, Natalie's going to be a part of the Trust and Safety Council on Twitch. I can promise you. Hassan Piker is going to become either the new reigning host of the Young Turks right alongside Anna Kasparian, if not making his own brand and trying to do what Tim Pool's doing, or Arin Hansen and all of his friends and buddies in the industry, they're going to band together and try and form a new studio to try and wash away the sins that he's created so that they can reach higher station. Try and make new content. Try and actually be a legitimate seller of video games. No more Dream Daddy. Nah. We want that Cartoon Network money. Let's make an animation where we push forward these ideals that nobody asked for. And also we can make a bullshit pandering ending that isn't risky at all, but we say is stunning and brave because that's what the people want. That's what they'll chew. It's the little things. It's the little things that build up over time that lead us to this. I don't want to live in a future where this is what we behave like. I don't want it. Can't do it. Don't want it. Don't want to be about it. So, on that note, if we're doing anything at all, if we take any step forward, what we should do is remember that this is what they're like. Remember that this is what motivates them. This is what keeps them up at night. Not their communities, but the money that they can make off of them. Keep that in mind, and remember the next time something like this happens, put it down, write it down, put it on a piece of paper, stick it to your wall, put it on your refrigerator, put it in a notebook file, and just save it down on the date that it happens. And you're going to start realizing that these things keep coalescing like this, one after another. Especially around a place like Reset Era. This is a weapon that they're cultivating. This is a long con. They want to have the power to destroy people on word alone. And they want to be able to do it so that you can't even ask them why. Either you stand or you die. That's scary as shit. And that should make anyone have pause if they ever try to side with something like this. Because it's not just the adults. The kids are doing it too. Remember the 13-year-old? That person? Someone came around claiming to be their parent, trying to insult and trying to attack me for commenting on it. We had an actual child try to suggest to us something that we've already been doing, which is trying to get men and women equally sexualized in media so that everybody can be happy. I tried to have a conversation with this person. They chose to start screaming "hoes mad" randomly at me. The same way that Imp Lemon, when in that conversation with Jungle Jimmy, decided to start just repeating Downward Spiral. They're going insane because they don't understand how to deal when someone doesn't play by the rule book that they've been given. And this is all because I refuse to play by their game. I mean, if they want to play checkers, feel free. I'm gonna be over here playing Jonkin by myself with a mysterious hand sticking out of a wall. Because that's the only way to win. The only way to win is to not play their game. And to just keep people remembering that they're lying about us. Lying about me, lying about you, lying about the world. Remember that they're lying. And just write down the lies. So that next time they claim that something happened, just take out the piece of paper and just read to them the lies that they told. They will not like it. They will go ballistic and scream for you to be beheaded. Because they know that the people who keep the history are the most important ones. They can't deal with the truth. So beat them with the truth. Do nothing but tell the truth, and they'll never be able to harm you. Because if they can't find a tool to use against you, what are they going to deplatform you with? Sunshine and rainbows? Going to call you a Nazi? Those words don't mean anything anymore. They need something of substance. They need something actually real that they can deplatform you with. They're never going to find it if they try coming looking for me. Because all I'm ever going to do is hold a mirror up to their face and ask them why are they like this. I don't know why it's so effective, but it is. But it is. It's getting really hot in here. I'm going to go take a shower. Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't already, sub to the channel. Sub to all of my support networks. Put $1 in the hat if you feel so inclined to. I'll see you guys next time. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.